There are construction projects that defy logic, buildings so ambitious, so impossibly difficult, that they seem designed to fail. And then there are projects that don't just succeed, they shatter every expectation, break every record, and rewrite the rules of what's possible. The Empire State Building was one of those projects. In 1930, in the middle of the worst economic crisis in American history, with unemployment skyrocketing and banks collapsing, New York decided to build the tallest building in the world. And not just build it fast. Faster than anyone thought possible. 410 days, 58 weeks. From bare earth to the tallest structure on the planet. 102 stories, 1,450 feet, 10 million bricks, 60,000 tons of steel, 3,400 workers, most of them immigrants, many barely speaking English, working without hard hats, without safety harnesses, hanging hundreds of feet above the streets of Manhattan. They average 4.5 floors per week. Even today, with modern equipment, computers, and safety regulations, that pace would be considered extraordinary. In 1930, it was miraculous. This is the story of how the Empire State Building was built, not the building's history, not its symbolism or cultural impact, but the actual construction, the workers, the engineering, the logistics, the danger, the speed, the race against time that created one of the most iconic structures ever built. This is the story of the fastest, most audacious construction project in history. March 1930. The stock market crashed 5 months ago. The Great Depression has begun. Banks are failing. Businesses are closing. Unemployment is rising. The American economy is collapsing. And a group of developers led by John Jacob Raskob announces they're going to build the tallest building in the world right in the heart of Manhattan. The timing seems insane. Who's going to rent office space in the middle of an economic catastrophe? Who's going to finance construction when banks are failing? Why build it all when the future looks so bleak? But Raskob sees opportunity where others see disaster. Construction costs are plummeting. Labor is cheap and plentiful. Millions of men are desperate for work. Materials are available at rock-bottom prices. Steel mills that would normally be running at capacity are sitting idle, eager for orders. If you're going to build the tallest building in the world, a depression is actually the perfect time to do it. The site is ready. The Waldorf Astoria Hotel has been demolished. 2 full city blocks on 5th Avenue at 34th Street, cleared down to bedrock. The location is perfect. Central Manhattan, visible from all directions, connected to subway lines and major streets. Raskob hires the architectural firm Shreve, Lamb & Harmon. They're not the most famous architects in New York, but they have a reputation for efficiency, for designing buildings that can be constructed quickly and economically. That's exactly what Raskob needs. The architects work fast. They produce plans for a 102-story building in just 2 weeks. The design is simple but elegant, Art Deco style. Setbacks at various heights to comply with New York's zoning laws. A central tower rising to 1,450 feet, capped with a distinctive spire. But the real innovation isn't in the design. It's in the construction methodology. Shreve, Lamb & Harmon designed the building to be assembled like a machine. Every element is standardized, prefabricated when possible, designed to fit together with minimal adjustment. The building isn't just designed to be tall, it's designed to be built fast. The construction company is Starrett Brothers and Ekin. They're experienced builders known for completing projects on time and on budget. When they review the plans, they make a promise that seems impossible. They'll complete the building in 18 months. From groundbreaking to opening day, 18 months. For a 102-story building, this is unprecedented. The Woolworth Building, 57 stories, took 3 years to build. The Chrysler Building, 77 stories, took 2 years. And those buildings were smaller, simpler, built during prosperous times with no pressure to rush. The Empire State Building will be taller, more complex, and built during a depression. In half the time, it seems impossible. But Starrett Brothers has a plan. The key to building the Empire State Building fast is logistics. Military-grade logistics. Every element of construction needs to be planned, scheduled, coordinated. There's no room for delays, mistakes, or improvisation. The builders study factory assembly lines. They look at how Ford builds cars, how factories mass-produce goods. They apply those principles to constructing a skyscraper. The first innovation is the steel frame. The building skeleton will be steel, beams and columns forming a framework that supports everything else. This is standard for skyscrapers. But the way they order, deliver, and assemble the steel is revolutionary. The steel is fabricated in Pittsburgh by American Bridge Company. Each piece is cut to exact specifications, numbered, and shipped by rail to New York. The pieces arrive on a precise schedule, exactly when they're needed, not too early. There's no space to store thousands of tons of steel on a Manhattan construction site. Not too late. Delays cost money and time. The steel arrives, is unloaded, and is lifted into place the same day, sometimes within hours. The construction site becomes a perfectly choreographed ballet of trucks, cranes, and workers. Each floor follows an identical pattern. Steel frame goes up first. Then concrete floors are poured. Then brick exterior walls are built. Then interior work begins. Plumbing, electrical, plastering. By the time workers are finishing the interior of one floor, the steel frame for floors 10 stories higher is already going up. It's called the fast-track method. Different trades work on different floors simultaneously. The building rises while it's still being finished below. This is common now. In 1930, it's revolutionary. The second innovation is materials delivery. The construction site is in the middle of Manhattan. There's no room for stockpiling materials. Everything has to arrive exactly when it's needed and be lifted into place immediately. A dedicated railroad siding is built adjacent to the site. Trains arrive multiple times per day with steel, bricks, concrete, lumber, glass, everything needed for construction. The materials are unloaded and transported to construction elevators, which carry them to the exact floor where they're needed. At the peak of construction, the site uses 14 different hoisting engines and elevators. Some carry workers. Some carry materials. Some are dedicated to specific materials. One for steel, one for bricks, one for concrete. It's a vertical assembly line. The third innovation is workforce organization. 3,400 workers at peak employment. They're divided into specialized crews. Riveters, ironworkers, bricklayers, concrete pourers, electricians, plumbers. Each crew knows exactly what they're supposed to do and when. The work runs on a strict schedule. Different crews work on different floors, but they're coordinated so they never interfere with each other. When the concrete crew finishes a floor, the brick crew is ready to start immediately. When the brick crew finishes, the interior crews move in. No waiting, no delays. The schedule is so tight that lunch breaks are staggered. Different crews eat at different times, so work never completely stops. The building is being assembled 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. Only Sundays are off. This level of coordination requires communication. In 1930, there are no cell phones, no radios, no walkie-talkies. Communication happens through a network of phone lines installed throughout the construction site. Foremen can call the ground office to report progress, request materials, or solve problems. It's crude by modern standards, but effective. The result of all this planning is speed. Astonishing speed. The steel frame rises at a rate of 4.5 stories per week. Some weeks, they complete 5 floors. The fastest week sees 6 floors completed. To put this in perspective, modern skyscraper construction averages about 1 floor per week. The Empire State Building is being built 4 times faster than modern projects, using 1930s technology. The Empire State Building was designed by architects and engineered by experts, but was built by 3,400 men, most of them immigrants, many desperately poor, all willing to risk their lives for a paycheck. The workforce is incredibly diverse. Irish immigrants, Italian immigrants, Mohawk ironworkers from Canada, African Americans from the South, men who came to New York looking for opportunity and found themselves building the tallest structure on earth. The most famous workers are the ironworkers, sometimes called sky boys. These are the men who walk on steel beams hundreds of feet in the air, assembling the building skeleton. They're the ones in the iconic photographs, sitting on beams, eating lunch, standing on girders with no safety equipment, casually working at heights that would terrify most people. Many of the ironworkers are Mohawk Indians from the Conowick Reserve near Montreal. Mohawk ironworkers have a reputation for being fearless at heights, comfortable working on high steel. This reputation starts in the late 1800s when Mohawks work on bridge construction and continues through the skyscraper boom of the 1920s and 30s. The work is incredibly dangerous. There are no hard hats. Those won't become standard until the 1930s. There are no safety harnesses, no safety nets. Workers rely on their balance, their strength, and their courage. One mistake, one slip, and you fall. The ironworkers use a technique called riding the ball. When a steel beam is being lifted into place by crane, a worker will sometimes ride up with it, guiding it into position. This saves time. The worker is already in position when the beam arrives, ready to bolt into place. But it's terrifying, riding a swinging steel beam hundreds of feet in the air with nothing to hold on to. The riveters are equally impressive. Rivets are the fasteners that hold the steel frame together. Each rivet needs to be heated until it's red hot, then driven through holes in steel beams and hammered into place before it cools. It's hot, loud, dangerous work. Riveting crews work in teams of 4. The heater tends a portable forge, heating rivets to over 1,000 degrees. The catcher stands at the joint, using tongs to catch rivets thrown from the forge. Yes, thrown, sometimes across gaps of 10 or 15 feet. The bucker holds the rivet in place with a heavy iron bar, and the riveter uses a pneumatic hammer to drive the rivet home. The noise is incredible. Hundreds of riveters working simultaneously, pneumatic hammers clanging, steel beams ringing. You can hear the construction from blocks away. The rhythm of the hammers becomes the heartbeat of the building. The pay is decent by depression standards. Skilled ironworkers make around $15 per day. Laborers make less, maybe $4 or $5. In 1930, with millions unemployed, this is good money. Good enough that men are willing to risk their lives for it. But the human cost is real. During the construction of the Empire State Building, 5 workers die, remarkably few for a project of this scale. The Brooklyn Bridge killed 27 workers. The George Washington Bridge killed 17. But 5 deaths is still 5 tragedies. 5 men who came to work one morning and never went home. The causes vary. Falls, mostly. One worker is struck by a falling beam. Another is crushed when an elevator malfunctions. The deaths are reported in newspapers, investigated by city inspectors. But construction doesn't stop. Can't stop. The schedule is too tight. The pressure too great. For every death, there are dozens of serious injuries. Broken bones from falls. Burns from hot rivets. Crushed hands and feet. The injured are taken to nearby hospitals, treated, and often return to work within days. They can't afford not to. There are no workers' comp laws, no disability insurance. If you don't work, you don't get paid. Despite the danger, despite the deaths, the workers are proud. They're building something extraordinary, something that will outlast them all. The photograph from the construction show men smiling, joking, eating lunch on steel beams 800 feet in the air. They know they're making history. One worker later said, "We weren't just building a building. We were building the future. Every rivet we drove, every beam we placed, we were saying, America can do this. Even in the worst of times, we can build something great." The construction of the Empire State Building isn't just fast. It's a race, a competition. And the competitors are other skyscrapers being built at the same time. The main rival is the Chrysler Building, completed in May 1930, just weeks before Empire State construction begins. The Chrysler Building is 1,046 feet tall. It's the tallest building in the world, but not for long. The Empire State Building is designed to be 1,050 feet tall, topping the Chrysler by just 4 feet. But during construction, the developers make a change. They add a 200-foot spire to the top. This brings the total height to 1,250 feet. Then they revise again, making the spire taller. Final height, 1,454 feet. Why the changes? Partly for aesthetics. The spire makes the building more distinctive, but mostly for pride. They want to be absolutely certain they're building the tallest building in the world. And they want a commanding lead, not just a few feet. There's also competition with 40 Wall Street, another skyscraper being built in Lower Manhattan. During construction, 40 Wall Street and the Chrysler Building engage in a height war, each trying to top the other. The Empire State Building ends that war definitively at 1,454 feet. It's so much taller than any competitor that no one can catch up. But the height competition is secondary to the speed competition. The Empire State Building isn't just trying to be tall, it's trying to be fast, to prove that American engineering and American workers can accomplish anything. The construction schedule becomes a source of civic pride. Newspapers report the progress regularly. Empire State Building reaches 50th floor. Empire State Building tops Chrysler Building. Empire State Building becomes world's tallest. New Yorkers watch the building rise. You can see it from all over Manhattan. Every week, it's noticeably taller. The speed is mesmerizing. People start timing their daily routines by the building's progress. When I started my job, They were on the 40th floor. Now they're on the 70th. The builders feed this excitement. They invite photographers and reporters to visit the construction site regularly. They want publicity. They want people to see what's being accomplished. One famous photograph in the construction is lunch atop a skyscraper. It shows 11 ironworkers sitting on a steel beam, eating lunch, their feet dangling in the air. Behind them is Manhattan, 800 feet below. The photograph becomes iconic. It's been reproduced millions of times. It captures the spirit of construction, confident, fearless, proud. The photograph was staged, by the way. The workers were posed by a photographer hired to publicize the building. But it wasn't faked. Those men really were sitting on that beam, 800 feet up, with no safety equipment. The danger was real, even if the moment was choreographed. By September 1930, 6 months into construction, the steel frame reaches the 50th floor. By November, it's at 75 floors. By January 1931, it's at 90 floors. The building is rising faster than anyone predicted. The final weeks of construction are the most dramatic. The builders are racing to finish before the scheduled opening day, May 1st, 1931. Every day counts. Crews work overtime. The coordination becomes even more intense. Delays that would have been acceptable earlier are now unthinkable. In March 1931, the steel frame tops out. The 102nd floor is complete. The building has reached its final height. A small American flag is raised at the summit. Workers and spectators cheer. But topping out doesn't mean the building is finished. There's still enormous work to be done. The exterior needs to be completed. The interior needs to be finished. Elevators need to be installed and tested. Electrical systems, plumbing, heating. Everything needs to work before the building can open. The race continues. Crews work frantically. The building becomes a maze of workers, all moving with purpose, all focused on the deadline. And on May 1st, 1931, exactly as promised, the Empire State Building opens. For 110 days after construction began, 58 weeks, from bare earth to the tallest building in the world, President Herbert Hoover participates in the opening ceremony, pressing a button in Washington, D.C. that officially lights up the building. Former New York Governor Al Smith, who championed the project, gives a speech. Thousands of people gather outside to watch. The schedule was met. The impossible was accomplished. The Empire State Building stands. The iconic photographs of Empire State Building construction, workers sitting on beams, hanging from cranes, standing on girders, are thrilling. They're also misleading. They make the work look almost casual, like the workers aren't constantly aware of the danger. The reality was different. Every worker on that site knew that one mistake could be fatal, that a moment of inattention could end in a fall, that the difference between going home and dying was measured in inches. The lack of safety equipment wasn't because of ignorance. Everyone knew the work was dangerous. But in 1930, worker safety wasn't prioritized the way it is today. Hard hats weren't standard. Safety harnesses were rare. The attitude was, be careful, pay attention, don't fall. This seems callous now, but you have to understand the context. In 1930, workplace deaths were common across all industries. Mining, manufacturing, construction all had high fatality rates. The idea that employers had a responsibility to provide safety equipment was still new. The idea that workers had a right to refuse dangerous work was almost non-existent. The men who built the Empire State Building accepted the danger as part of the job. They were professionals, skilled workers who took pride in their craft. But they were also fathers, husbands, sons. They had families waiting for them at home. The 5 workers who died during construction weren't careless. They weren't inexperienced. They were experienced workers who had bad luck, who made small mistakes with huge consequences. One man fell from the 47th floor. He was an iron worker, experienced at working high steel. But he stepped wrong, lost his balance, and fell. Nothing could be done. At that height, a fall is always fatal. Another man was struck by a falling rivet. Rivets were heated to over 1,000 degrees and thrown between workers. Usually this worked fine, but occasionally, a rivet would miss the catcher, fall, and strike someone below. One worker was hit in the head by a falling rivet and died from his injuries. The accidents were investigated. Procedures were reviewed. But ultimately, the conclusion was always the same. Construction is dangerous. Accidents happen. Work continues. Modern construction safety regulations exist because of projects like the Empire State Building. Because people saw the photographs of men working without safety equipment and said, "This is wrong. We can do better." Hard hats, safety harnesses, guardrails, safety nets. All these became standard because of the deaths and injuries that happen on projects like this. The Empire State Building construction was a triumph of engineering and determination, but it was also a reminder of the human cost of building great things. 410 days, 58 weeks. From March 17th, 1930 to May 1st, 1931, the Empire State Building is complete. 102 stories, 1,454 feet, 10 million bricks, 60,000 tons of steel, 200,000 cubic feet of Indiana limestone and granite, 7 million pounds of steel and iron framework, 67 elevators, 1,860 steps from ground to the 102nd floor, and it was built on time, on budget, exactly as promised. The final cost, $40,860,000. In today's money, that's approximately $600 million. For context, modern skyscrapers of similar size often cost over $2 billion to build. How is it so cheap? Depression-era labor and materials, efficient design, minimal delays, and a willingness to push workers hard, to take risks that wouldn't be acceptable today. The opening ceremony is grand but subdued. This is 1931. The Depression is deepening. Millions are unemployed. Banks are failing. The mood is dark. But the Empire State Building represents hope. It says, America can still build, still accomplish great things, even in the darkest times. President Hoover presses a button in Washington, and the building lights up. Former Governor Al Smith, who championed the project from the beginning, stands at the top and declares, "This building is a monument to American ingenuity, American labor, and American determination." The press coverage is extensive. The building is featured on the front page of newspapers across the country and around the world. World's tallest building opens in New York. Empire State Building defies depression. New York's new crown. But there's a problem. A big problem. The building is mostly empty. The developers hope to rent the office space quickly. But in 1931, in the middle of the Depression, businesses aren't expanding. They're contracting. They're not looking for new office space. They're downsizing, closing, going bankrupt. The Empire State Building becomes known, somewhat cruelly, as the Empty State Building. For years, large portions of the building sit vacant. The developers struggle to pay the mortgage. The building operates at a loss. It's not until after World War II, when the economy finally recovers, that the Empire State Building becomes profitable. But that doesn't diminish the achievement of its construction. The building itself, the physical accomplishment of constructing 102 stories in 410 days, remains extraordinary. The Empire State Building's construction revolutionized skyscraper building. The methods developed during its construction became standard practice. The fast-track method, building multiple floors simultaneously, is now universal for large construction projects. The logistic systems, just-in-time delivery of materials, coordinated scheduling of multiple trades, are now standard. The building also influenced safety regulations. The deaths and injuries during construction contributed to the development of modern construction safety standards. Hard hats became mandatory. Safety harnesses became standard for work above certain heights. The idea that employers were responsible for workers' safety gained acceptance. The speed record set by the Empire State Building has never been broken. Yes, taller buildings have been built since, but none have been built as fast relative to their size and complexity. Modern skyscrapers take years to complete. The Empire State Building took 14 months. Why can't we build that fast anymore? Several reasons. Modern buildings are more complex. They have sophisticated HVAC systems, computer networks, advanced elevators. The Empire State Building was relatively simple by comparison. Also, modern safety regulations slow construction. This is a good thing. Fewer workers die. But it takes time. But there's also a cultural difference. In 1930, the attitude was, build it fast. Take risks if necessary. Accept that some workers will die. In 2025, that attitude is unacceptable. We value worker safety over speed. The Empire State Building stands as a reminder of what's possible when society commits to a goal without reservation, when speed and ambition override caution and cost. It's also a reminder of the costs. 5 workers died. Many more were injured. Families lost fathers. Wives lost husbands. Children lost parents. The building speed came at a human price. Was it worth it? That's a question everyone has to answer for themselves. The building is magnificent, iconic, a symbol of American ambition and capability. But 5 men died building it. The workers who survived were proud of what they built. In interviews years later, many said it was the best job they ever had, the most meaningful work of their lives. They were part of something historic, something that would outlast them all. One ironworker, interviewed in 1970, said, "I'm 80 years old. I've worked a lot of jobs. But when people ask what I did, I tell them, I built the Empire State Building. And that's enough. That's all I need to say." If you visit the Empire State Building today, you can take elevators to the observation decks on the 86th and 102nd floors. You can look out over Manhattan and see the entire city spread below you. You can understand why it's one of the most visited tourist attractions in the world. But if you know the history, you see something different. You see 3,400 workers. You see steel beams being lifted into place by hand. You see iron workers walking on girders 800 feet in the air with no safety equipment. You see riveters heating metal to 1,000 degrees and catching red-hot rivets with tongs. You see 410 days of the most intense construction project ever attempted. The Empire State Building isn't just a building. It's a monument to what humans can accomplish when they commit completely to a goal, when they accept no excuses, tolerate no delays, push beyond what seems possible. It's also a monument to the men who built it, the immigrants, the laborers, the skilled tradesmen who risk their lives every day for a paycheck, who walked on steel beams without safety harnesses because that's what the job required, who kept working even after seeing their friends fall. 410 days, 58 weeks, 4.5 floors per week, from bare earth to 1,454 feet. It's a record that still stands, a speed that has never been matched, an accomplishment that grows more impressive with every passing year. Modern construction is safer, more regulated, more careful. This is progress. This is good. Workers shouldn't die building skyscrapers. But we've also lost something. The audacity, the willingness to attempt the impossible, the confidence that says, we can do this. We can build the tallest building in the world in 1 year. Watch us. The Empire State Building was built during America's darkest economic period, when unemployment was 25%, when banks were failing and businesses were closing, when the future looked bleak. And yet, a group of developers said, we're going to build something great. And 3,400 workers said, we'll do it. And in 410 days, they did. The building stands 94 years later. Still iconic, still impressive, still a symbol of what's possible when ambition meets determination. One worker later wrote, every time I see that building, I think, I helped build that. My hands placed those rivets. My feet walked those beams. I was part of something that will outlast me by centuries. And that's something. That's worth the fear, worth the danger, worth everything. 410 days, 3,400 workers, 5 deaths, 10 million bricks, 60,000 tons of steel, 1,454 feet. The fastest construction project in history, the most audacious building ever attempted, the monument that proved America could build anything, even in the darkest times, especially in the darkest times. The Empire State Building stands, and it always will.